Kia ora whānau, kia ora tātou, ko Niu for Old Te Maunga, ko Manukau Te Awa, ko Samoa Tonga Ahau, ko Haufano Toku Whānau, ko Pasitaua Toku Wingoa. So it is my privilege to be able to share my kōrero around some of the mahi that we're doing as education. Before I start, I'd like to start off with a whakatauki. And the whakatauki goes as follows. E hara taku toa I te toa taketahi, engari he toa taketini, which means my strength is not as an individual, but as a collective. I believe one of the most powerful ways to sustain impact is through communities. For those who don't know, Zeducation is a workplace training and a community training provider, and our mission is to unleash people's greatness, and we do that through education. So no matter who you are, how old you are, where you're from, everybody has greatness. So we partner up with employers or government agencies to deliver training in the community or to help upskill staff in organizations. So we train on topics like leadership, financial literacy, digital upskilling, for example. And so it will be my privilege to spend some time with you to emphasize why communities is something we believe has not only enhanced the experience of our learners, but has helped make learning a lifelong journey and motivation. So we first discovered the need to build communities and not just deliver courses when students kept asking us, what's next? What's the next program? We only had limited training programs and funding, right? And so we thought, how can we help these people, to continue to educate and inspire beyond just the completion of the programs? And so we came up with the idea of building a community. And so I'd like to introduce the 5 C's of a community. So this is something that Zeducation has created. It helps make things more practical and approachable for us in terms of how we build and grow a community. And so as you can see, the 5 C's is cause, connection, collaboration, contribution, and celebration. And so I'd like to go through each one just so that you can understand what it means to Zeducation. So starting with cause, every community needs a cause or a purpose, something that brings us together, something that helps us to focus our individual and our collective efforts, right? And a cause is something that's typically worth living for. It's kind of the reason that the community exists in the first place. And if you get it right, it can instill an unwavering trust, commitment, and unity, right? So a community has a cause. So the next one is connection. Connection is important. This is about relationships. So it's not about the number of people that you know or the friends that you have. It's about the quality of relationships, all right? Who am I? Who are you? Who are we? Okay, so it's about whanaungatanga, it's about friendship, it's about relationship. And also being connected to other people is important for our social, emotional, and mental well-being as well. The next C is collaboration. So collaboration is just about working together, okay? I got your back and you got my back, right? And we work together to help generate ideas, solutions, and even make the work lighter for everyone. And the next C is contribution. So this one's about service, okay? So it's about offering your personal skills, your talents, and your resources for the greater cause. When you do good, you feel good, right? Contributing is not just a nice thing to do. It actually lifts your spirits. You feel like you can contribute. You feel needed and appreciated as well. And of course, one of my favorites is celebration, right? Celebration is about success, reputation, and acknowledgement. Okay, so people within the community actually care about your success, right? They may have even played a role in helping you achieve that, right? There's no tall poppy syndrome, there's no envy, there's no jealousy, right? Because your success is my success, right? And my success is your success, right? Because we actually care, we generally care, right? If you want a good example of a community that applies the 5 C's, MMT, so you can hear all the laughter, we're all quite familiar, mate maatonga, right? It's amazing, right? This community, they celebrate every time there's a Tongan League game. If you've been to a Tongan League game, the stadium's just filled like a red ocean, right? Everyone's wearing red attire. There's flags and merchandise everywhere. And the great thing about it is it's almost as if like the Kingdom of Tonga has migrated to New Zealand. It's just like so many people. It's crazy. And the cool thing is the celebration and the party doesn't even start in the stadium. It starts like at home, on the streets, the cars, the decorated flags, the vehicles that we see, and the loud music, right? And then it carries on into the stadium. And it's just beautiful, though, the unity and how everyone sings together. I don't know if you've heard them like sing hymns and stuff together. It's like they're one big choir, right? And my favorite thing is that the energy and the vibes from this community has a ripple effect on generations. Because even the young ones participate as well, right? And carry on the traditions. So that's an example, okay, of a community. So those are the 5 C's of a community, and so it helps to make things a little bit more practical for us as education, okay? Like where do we start, what needs improving, how can we grow it, how can we serve better? So I'd like to talk about one of our programs. It's called Makatuliki, and in Tongan that means cornerstone. Okay, so we help employers to design and deliver training programs like the topics that I talked about before. But this one here, Makatuliki, we designed from scratch on the back of the MPP funding around helping more Pacifica people upskill their financial capability and pathway into home ownership as well, which is the ultimate goal. And so we created a 10-week program. And 2 hours every week in the evening, because it gives people time, to work, sort out family, dinner and stuff, and then they can learn during the evening. So 10-week program, 2 hours every week with obviously homework and support in between. And they learn things like different home ownership schemes, what's compound interest, KiwiSaver, budgeting, debt management, setting smart financial goals. So these are some of the things that they learn, right? And then obviously at the end of the 10-week, we have a huge graduation, part of the celebration of the 5 C's. And then we launch a 1-year pastoral care plan for them. So after they've done 10 weeks up, got all these tools, then it's about the ongoing support in that journey for them, right? So what does that look like? So we build like a virtual community on Facebook. Facebook, I'm sure all of us are part of some sort of group on Facebook, right? And that can be effective if it's done right. So we've got a virtual community where they engage, share success, share stories. Our facilitators pop in and do Q&A, live sessions, just kind of keep it going, right? So that's the virtual community. And then they also get one-on-one support or coaching as well. Right? And obviously they can just pick up the phone and just ask whenever they want, right? So that's part of the culture there as well. So that's what we do, one of our programs. And what we've seen from it is within 12 months, we've been able to train or have 74 people go through the Makatuliki program. And out of the 74, about 5 people have bought their first homes. And 100% of them are on some sort of debt management or saving plan that we follow up on as well and support. Okay, there's been some pretty cool stories as well. There was one student who saved around, it's a lot of money, $8,000 in 8 months using the automatic payment method. There was one student who paid off $1,500 debt within 3 months using the snowball method for debt management. And so we're starting to hear some cool stories. And obviously, I have to make a shout out to my team. Like, I stand here and it's just me. There's a team of 12 of us. And I'm so grateful for the mahi that they do and the support that they give to our students. So it is definitely a community and a team effort in helping these students succeed. So what have we learned from this program and all our other programs at Zeducation? It's not enough to just deliver courses and training. You have to wrap it around with some sort of community and pastoral care support, right? And that's something that we've emphasized here. So you need to build communities. So with that being said, I'm just going to give you some insights and ideas, and please keep in mind, like, Zeducation, we're still learning, just like the rest of you, and we're still growing, so we're still trying to figure this out as well, around the community thing. But I'm going to share some of the things that has worked for us. Like, we're starting to see some good stuff come through. So one of the things that we focus on is trying to make it feel like a community, not just say you're part of a community and join this group and there you go, tick the box, right? So a lot of it has to do with whanaungatanga, like real genuine connections, like you're part of a community. So no matter what workshop or training program you do with education, the first workshop is all about connection and whanaungatanga, building that connection that will last beyond even the program itself. Right? We still have a lot of students who reach out to us. They're like family, right? Family to us. Right? There's actually one here in the room, and I can see her smiling. She's putting her hand up. She actually did the Makatuliki program as well, which is pretty cool. Graduation is a big thing for us, whether it's 20 people, 30 people, 40 people. Like, celebration is huge. I mean, we just saw MMT and what they do, right? It's part of the culture. Because celebration is also about success and acknowledgement. But when people graduate, they're representing their family. I can remember when I graduated at AUT, I did my master's degree. And I'll never forget the moment where the Vice Chancellor got all the students to stand up and look at their family that was there. And I looked my wife in the eye. And, it's like she could read my mind. But in that moment, I felt, man, I did this for us. This is for our kids, our future kids, right? And me being Pacifica, speaking from experience and raised in the culture, that's what it's about, right? You're representing your family, as was mentioned earlier as well, right? The generational wealth, right? And so we print certificates, we print T-shirts, we have food, we have photos. We've got to mention that as well, right? It's important. And obviously, we post the photos online so the whole community can see it too. So it's important to share that success, right? The community. Facebook group, I've kind of already mentioned that one. That's a big one for us, but keeping it active and being consistent, jumping in. We also have monthly challenges that we put in there as well, like Frugal February, like try and save up as much money as you can. We've got one coming up for September. I forgot what that was called, but it's around saving money is also. But, keeping challenges keeps things interesting, and they hold each other accountable, and they're sharing those little success stories too. Oh, I saved this much this week, or I did this, right? It all adds up. Food is a big thing for us, right? Hospitality, especially with whanaungatanga and connection, it allows us to live our values too, like manakitanga, allows us to feel like we're actually contributing and serving someone when we can bring food, because sometimes we're like, hey, we invite everyone to bring the kai, right? But sometimes education does put on a big feed, right? And food also creates a relaxing environment. People can just feel safe and have fun as they learn. Okay, so we never underestimate food and hospitality. T-shirts. So education has its own T-shirts, so we're pretty big on that. We print them ourselves, so we've got the machines to do it. But you can see that T-shirt there is black and gold, right? The only way you can get that T-shirt is if you've graduated from one of our programs. Okay, and obviously, it's different from your graduation gown because you wear that one time and at one event, one photo type of thing. But this one here, they can wear multiple times. And every time they put it on, they feel empowered and they're reminded of the community that they're a part of, right? And it's got the mission there, unleash your greatness. Okay. Social media is pretty big, as our sister here shared earlier, and everyone else. We're on a lot of, some of the Frugal February there. I got to thank one of my facilitators. She's very clever, very funny. She has a banking background too. But social media is huge for us. We're on like YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, you name it, Spotify, because we know this is where some of them hang. Right, and it's important for us to show up, and it's a platform where you can continue to influence and educate and inspire them. So we put on like quotes and videos and links to articles for more information to continue the support, right, rather than just the 10-week program and you're done. Okay, so this is again coming from the community approach, right, ongoing. And education has its own podcast too. It doesn't have 2 million downloads or anything like that. But we like this because you can connect with other people. I mean, there's people here that I can think of. I'd love to get them on a podcast, who can provide a lot of good value and information for our learners, and especially some of the challenges that they're currently going through. So we've done topics like financial well-being, digital literacy, etc. Right, and some stuff around Pasifika and Māori too. So with that being said, those are some of the things that we do as education in terms of the 5 C's. So hopefully that can provide value and give you some ideas as well in terms of your mahi, because the purpose for me was to walk away and also give you something that you could walk away with and apply yourself as well. But just keep in mind, it takes time. It's not something that happens overnight, right? Like building a community. It takes time and it takes consistency as well. Okay, but based on our experience, I can promise you, if you do it right and if you apply the 5 C's, there's massive benefits for the learners and also for the organization too. So I like to finish off with a Samoan proverb, which says, "E vave ta'unuu le malanga pea tātou alo va'a whaatasi," which means our destiny is within sight when we paddle our canoe together. It's similar to the theme as well. So thank you very much.
Hello, we're almost out of time, but I want to ask a couple of questions. One of them is, where do you get your funding from?
Different places, but we're very grateful for MPP, like I said, Ministry for Pacific Peoples is one of them, so we're very thankful for them. Auckland Unlimited, so some good support around there as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of our work is also direct as well, so it's not just fully funded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's a question. Do you see an inherent conflict? God, what's going on in my brain? Nobody should know. Do you see an inherent conflict between the Pasifika values of community and sharing and the Pākehā notion of accumulation of capital underpinning financial institutions?
That's really
I think the answer is yes.
Next question, please.
Yeah.
I think I'll answer it this way. I've had a few people sit down with us, like, I'm Pasifika, so people assume I'm a Pasifika organization, like focused only, right? That's all we help. But we help everyone, but predominantly Pasifika and Māori. And so we normally get clients who sit down with us and ask us those kind of questions, kind of like an interview, like, are you the right provider that we want to work with? So they ask questions like, how would you teach Pasifika differently to like Pākehā, et cetera, right? And I always say this, I say, some principles are universal, like kindness, love, like that's everyone, and how we show it might be a little bit different, right? And the context and the tradition and how we interpret that might be a little bit different. So I say the universals that I've just, like, especially the community 5 C's, I bet that's universal. Like, we all probably have different wording and perspectives on it. So yeah, hopefully that answers. I think the principles are universal.
Yeah, it does, and it so much reinforces the theme that we have been hearing over the last day and a half about the best way that we're going to achieve any of the things that we want is to see ourselves as part of a community, not as individuals. So thank you for that. A huge round of applause, please, for Pasitaua Haufano.